Hi there, moms. Convention of States Michigan is here for you. Time out with Convention of States moms. Grab your tea, your coffee, your cocktail, whatever the time of day happens to be for you. I've got my baby and my coffee. It's time for your timeout. So as we continue kind of going through the series where we left off, kind of going through our series of debunking myths and kind of clarifying Article 5 for all of you moms out there, there's a very prominent yet quite deceitful argument that's poised at the original Constitutional Convention. And one of the reasons I wanted to bring this up for all of you was because, I don't know if you know this or not, today is September 18th. Yesterday was September 17th. It just happens to be September 17th is Constitution Day for the United States. That was the day in 1789 when our Constitution was ratified on September 17th. So I wanted to be able to take a few minutes for all of you today to be able to clarify some myths about the original Constitutional Convention. So it's actually been suggested by people either out of ignorance or actually out of deceit that the Constitutional Convention of 1787, which resulted in all of the debate, the writing and the passage and the eventual ratification of our Constitution, actually ran away. It has been suggested that that Constitutional Convention wasn't actually legitimate and that it didn't do what it was supposed to do, and that it's suggested that this makes not only our current Constitution illegitimate, but actually gives evidence that any other national conventions, specifically Article 5 conventions, would also then run away. So the truth is that there were actually two conventions, not one. As in the age of the old childhood game of tag, the second convention was actually called to address the problems that were facing the Articles of Confederation. And out of that was born our Constitution. First, the first Constitution was the Annapolis Convention of 1786. So those delegates were sent to see if the Articles of Confederation were actually even fixable and what needed to be done to fix them. They concluded, the delegates to that convention concluded that they were not fixable, that the Articles of Confederation were not working with the way that, and being able to run a government the way that our growing country needed it. And it lacked, the Articles themselves lacked any authority to do anything. It actually lacked any authority to even be able to fix itself. So the delegates to that convention actually recommended to the state legislatures to actually call for a second constitutional convention to create an entirely new document. The commissioners, as they call themselves, or delegates, recommended to meet the following May. So this was in the fall of 1786. They were recommending to meet again the following spring, in the following May of 1787, to actually hold another convention. They were going to meet in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where we have Independence Hall. And to quote that recommendation, they were recommending to devise such further provisions as shall appear to them necessary to render the Constitution of the federal government adequate to the exigencies of the Union. And I'm horrible at saying that word, so I slaughter that word every time. I apologize. The state legislatures, based on that recommendation, agreed with that recommendation and called for that Philadelphia Convention, which is what we know today to be the Constitutional Convention of 1787. That's where the delegates were then given authority to have that second convention, were given the authority by those state legislatures to then write and basically to do anything that they needed to do up and until creating an entirely new document for the Union itself. And then tag the Constitutional Convention at Independence Hall, the convention that we all know about, the convention that we love and adore, was actually held that following spring in May. So all of those men worked. There was, I want to say, about 56 or so. There were 50 some men that all met there. They were all given commissioners. They were all the delegates that were given authority by their state legislatures, that they were all representing those states. And they went and worked, negotiated, and debated all summer long. And then by September of 1787, our Constitution was signed and then recommended for ratification to the states. Did I say 1789 earlier? I meant 1787. Sorry about that, moms. 1787. And then, by the way, this also then included in all of that work was also included Article 5, the Article 5 convention process for any future amendments that might be necessary to that Constitution. So it is important to note here that the original Articles of Confederation didn't have anything even like that. So we needed to make sure that we included something to be able to have future amendments if necessary. And they learned that and then made sure that that was added to the original Constitution as part of the Constitutional Convention. So it was included in the original Constitution and in its workings, having an Article 5 process, including an Article 5 National Convention of the States. And it was expected that we would be able to use that amendment process and that convention process if necessary. So if you'd like even more evidence of this out there, moms, James Madison, who is one of our founding framers, who was there, who devoted the entirety, and actually wrote the Constitution, devoted the entirety of Federalist Papers 40 to explaining how the Philadelphia Convention was decided upon and then justifying all of the actions that the people took, that those delegates took at the convention itself. So if you guys have any more questions, make sure you look up that Federalist Papers 40, be able to read for yourself, be able to read those kind of original texts and original sources for yourself. If you have any other questions, feel free to email me at askmi@cosaction.com, and those emails will come to me, and I'd be more than happy to answer any of the questions for you. To answer the one question that's out there probably right now, yes, this is the newest addition to the family. His name is Jameson. He is 7 weeks old. He's also nap time, so you can tell he's getting fussy. So if you guys want to learn any more, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. If you want to join our team, contact me at askmi@cosaction.com. And we would be more than happy to get you connected and to get those questions answered for you. Don't forget that you can add, or you can actually be able to sign our national petition. You can do that here, and you can even volunteer for us as well. If you want to join our team, get to do some of the fun things that I get to do every single week as well, and be able to be a part of our COS Michigan team. So sign the Convention of States petition, join our team. This will get you on our mailing list, and you can start volunteering for us as well. So take an action, mom. Get to know our Constitution, especially on this kind of Constitution Week, and getting to know the history of the United States Constitution. And we will see you all out there. See you in a few weeks.